everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa. Welcome to this relaxing, restorative Saturday paint. On the mic today is my husband, John.
Hi, guys.
I've just declared it relaxing and restorative.
I think we're doing some
put the tent pole in the ground and said, this is what we're doing today. We're chilling out. We're painting Oz today. We're painting the Emerald City. This is a fantastic, beloved story. I think that this is up there with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter in how we create and architect ourselves internally. My opinion. I feel a lot of people impacted by certain books, and this is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone off on a weird thing. So today, if you don't know, I'm going to teach you how to paint this landscape painting of the Emerald City.
Which I'm very excited about because it's got the cool rainbows and the poppies.
There's a lot of stuff that's been asked for in here. I've been asked a lot for poppy landscapes. I've been asked a lot for, can we paint a rainbow, please, sometime, anytime soon?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start talking about those rainbows. Also, I'm going to show you some great tricks on how to get the city in. If you've been to a painting party, this is a lot like that. I'm going to paint a thing, and you're going to paint a thing, and following along with me, you're going to end up with the same result at home. There's going to be a picture-in-picture.
Oh, yeah. Got that button push ready.
But also, if you look in the description below, there's more text down there. I try to use all 50,000 characters. There's a link to a traceable. Even though I don't really think this piece needs a traceable, I think it is okay to trace. And if right now you identify as somebody who does not draw, that doesn't mean that you also have to identify as somebody who's not an artist. Those things are not connected. Drawing is an art skill. It's super learnable. But painting is also a skill, and you can learn it without drawing. Tracing is just done. It's not cheating.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. It's not cheating. Plus, also, who is going to come turn you in? Like, what are they going to do? Even if it was cheating, what would the outcome be?
So I know that we normally try to gather up a lot of wishes and put them on the canvas, but we've got some. We had so many today that they're already on there. Yeah,
I think there's just so many wishes going on in people's hearts today.
So I'm really glad we've got a lot of light keepers and we've got a whole bunch of Sherpettes in the groups
light
here.
Keepers,
so
and Sherpettes gathering wishes.
It's
so
just
we know.
piling. We've already got like 100 likes, and we've got almost 200 people in here. It's like it's just there's lots and lots of people.
If we get to 300 likes, I got to dance.
Well, I'm sure we're going to
nom likes.
But, I just want to say thank you. Everybody's out here. Let's go ahead and get to those wishes so we can get to our materials.
Yeah. So we like to put wishes in our canvas, and today we're starting with a belated happy birthday to Kim Mayberry because I had to postpone our Thursday quest.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia has a wish for a girl she doesn't know. She saw a girl on the road who was looking very sad and distraught, and she just put this out there that she just wished this girl is okay. So wherever this girl is in the world right now, and whatever she's going through, we're wishing that she's okay. Jennifer is going through some health issues, and she needs to be surrounded by brilliant, on-point healers, healing energy, and support in that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And to that end, Stephanie is going through some depression right now. And we put on here that we wish that she's also supported by healers for her mental well-being and by people who understand that she's in a mental well-being journey. Mm-hmm. If you had a fever and a cold, you would not feel particularly odd about that. You would, get some medicine, seek medical help. But sometimes when we feel really sad, we feel responsible for that and bad. And you really shouldn't. Just know that wherever you are, if you're going through a time where you're feeling really sad, this is just a health issue. And you never have to ever feel bad about a health issue. Just always seek help.
Yeah.
Right?
Big art hug there.
Yeah. And also, Aaron's going through anxiety. I just had a panic attack the other night, Aaron, so totally understand what that's like. That is the worst.
The worst.
It's fantastic to have those chemicals in your body. If an actual lion is running at you, you want them. You need them. They assist in you running away. But for those things to hit you when nothing is going on and you're just watching your favorite show on TV is the worst.
Yeah.
So same thing. Healers that get it and support systems. More than anything, support systems around you that get it. Sarah's wishing for rain because where she's at, there's wildfires going on. It's very dry. And she's like, if it could just rain here, some of the rain that's going everywhere else could go there. That would be really helpful. Tammy is wishing for Ronnie, who's just had a loss of a love, to be surrounded by family and support. And then just in general, John and I just want to put a wish out to the world right now.
Yeah.
To just be okay and be peaceful. I know it seems so, it's just almost, when you go on social media,
it's crazy.
It's alarming. But let's just wish that the world finds its legs and finds its peace and finds its equilibrium.
Yeah.
Right? And that everybody is surrounded by well-being and everybody is safe and everything is okay. That is our wishes.
And thank you guys for so many wishes. And thanks to Donna. I know she jumped up there and said, hey, I'm going to capture some wishes for this afternoon's painting. And a lot of our Sherpets and Lightkeepers are doing that. So thank you guys so much.
We super duper appreciate that. And also, as I'm looking through for brushes, I'm so funny. I'm going to grab this brush. So particular. I'm like, what little brush am I going to grab today? Today I'm working with art materials.
What materials are you working with, Sherpa?
Acrylic painting materials. I like acrylics. I like acrylics a lot. I like their color density. I like how quickly they dry. I like the way I can change my mind and they layer. And I like the sort of no penalty for a mistake element that I kind of get with acrylics. Mm-hmm. It's just what I like about them. Doesn't make them the best medium in the planet. They're all good mediums. I just like them a lot. And so I'm excited to show you. I've got brushes for acrylic. This is a number 10 bright. Right? And it has a very firm filament in it. It's really terrific. When you're looking for brushes, you want a quality brush with firm filaments for the heavy body paint. Mm-hmm. I've got this heavy body paint out here. It's not my complete palette for the day, which is why, so you got to look in the description below. Mm-hmm. But this is what I need for the basis of the landscape right now. And I have phthalo green, burnt sienna, phthalo blue, titanium white, my very favorite, acrylic glazing liquid glass that I will probably die using. This is, this is one of those things that you wish you'd known about this product years earlier. Not sponsored, just love this. Only this company makes this and I love it. Cadmium yellow medium. Definitely if you're working, have kids or, or want to save money, get hue. And I have the yellow ochre. Mm. So that is the basis of doing this. Those are the basic materials. But first I need to sketch in a couple things.
You do?
I do. You might have already traced on your canvas. I have a 16 by 20 pre-gessoed canvas. Mm-hmm. It has a pretty rough tooth. I'm going to work around it. You don't have to re-gesso these, but if you're getting the economy canvases, you may want to gesso and sand them to change their finish.
Right.
But they'll still work regardless. Down here, I have a front hill as our pic. We need picture in picture.
We do?
Yeah, because they understand what I'm sketching in.
I can do that, I think.
I'm so fun. I'm sorry, baby. There you go. So you see that front hill? That's our object that's the closest to us. So I'm going to want to come, if this is the halfway mark right here, I have a hill that's going to come a bit above the halfway mark, and this one is going to come a bit below the halfway mark, and then end a bit below the third mark. So how that does is this hill is going to wander down. Wander your hill. I'm using watercolor marker because it will vanish. And then I'm going to make a little level spot as I wander my hill down. I could even maybe be a little lower in my hill. I'm going to go a little lower than that. I love watercolor pencil. And I'm going to have a little flat spot here. This is my road. You need a little road. And then I'm going to wander the other part of the hill here. And the nice thing about my road, how I'm going to tell my road is curving, is I'm going to make a little curve line here. And I'm going to flare it out. See how that goes? Making sure my little hill butts up to this nice little yellow brick road that people are following. I'm going to come above the halfway mark. And I'm going to run this hill into that one. See how that goes? And right about this, not quite perfectly midpoint, because there's the perfect midpoint of my canvas. I know I'm going to have my city. I'm going to draw the beginnings of the thoughts of my road, and it's going to S to the right, over to the left, because they just had to make people wander coming up to the Emerald City. Got to make them work for it, and curve down. And this is how I'm going to get in my perspective of my wandering hill road. Now, because this is the furthest point away at my horizon line, and nearly, and my vanishing point is actually right here, I'm going to need to have this road be narrow, narrow, narrow here, And it's going to widen out as it gets closer. It gets a little bigger as it gets closer. And it can flare out. We can change this a lot with paint, but it's going to flare out a little bit here. So what you can see has happened is this road had gone down and wandered that way. You can actually see how it traveled around the hills by what you're not seeing in the way it comes up. So you're telling a lot of story there. And a lot of you guys are like, how do I get my road to disappear? And that is about the ever diminishing parallel lines that are going up the hill. So now I know where everything is. I can put in my sky effect, which I'm trying to decide what I want to use for that.
What kind of brush are you thinking you're gonna?
I'm thinking I'm going to do a number 10.
Is you gonna thwack your mic?
I'm going to whack my mic, and I'm going to sippy because this is going to be it. We landscaping today.
That's a pretty mug. I like that mug. I have the thing in front of the thing. I should push the button to make it go pick. There it goes.
I'm drinking a very delicious concoction of coconut lime.
I'm drinking coffee.
Yum.
And you know what? Because the coffee has got me on a little bit, I'm going to say, hey, shout out to our little brushes. I know that I saw Greta, and I saw, I'm not sure if I saw,
Hi, Greta.
I'm just drawing a blank. I saw a whole bunch of names scroll by here before.
Well, you
but
catch them as we go.
And, yeah, I'll get some more as we come up here.
You can shout them out as we go. I'm going to come over to the phthalo blue. And we'll pull a little bit of it out. I'm going to get my glazing medium because that improves the flow of my paint. The other thing that you could do if you needed to is you could just dip the corner of your brush in some water and pull it out. Now my brush doesn't overload with water.
Oh, Hunter's watching. That's who I saw.
Hi, Hunter. And the reason my brush doesn't overload with water is because the filaments are firm and the brush is designed to pull in the amount of water I would want for acrylic painting. A watercolor brush is designed to pull in a lot more water because that helps with your watercolor painting. But if you used a watercolor brush on acrylic, it would pull in too much water and make the paint soppy and not perform well.
Oh.
This first 1.5 inches, 2 inches is just going to be this pure blue. This is the darkest part of my sky. My sky is going to get ever lighter as it comes down the hill. And how I'm going to do that, so you can see I wiped off the extra paint from my brush, is without rinsing, I'm now going to get white and load up. Use my glazing medium because it also helps me blend. And I'm going to come between these two seams with this, what you now see is a slightly lighter shade, right?
Yeah.
As I'm going down the sky, I'm going to continue to do that. And how I get that blend there between those two edges, I come back very softly on the seams. You can't always go back easily because the paint drags with you, interestingly enough. So sometimes you have to use a whole separate dry brush to get a good blend.
See, Tiara.
I'm pressing down here, and I'm trying to make sure that I cover the whole canvas. If I'm not getting the whole canvas covered, that's because I don't have enough fluidity to my paint or enough paint.
Is that what causes that kind of, I'm going to zoom in on it, kind of...
So right there I was running out of paint and
Yeah.
fluidity on my brush. It got dry, so it started skipping over the canvas. And you can see I've just reloaded, come here, and it just disappears.
Oh, yeah.
So that is about paint and fluidity.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be my gel medium. I just highly recommend this product. You can just also use water.
Now, okay, so I saw a question here from Tiara about
I'm
some
just adding white and not blue. What does Tiara have to say?
She said, I bought some watercolor pencils the other night, but when I did my painting yesterday, my yellow watercolor pencil bled into my paint. Why would that happen?
Well, all the pencils are going to go into your paint because the whole point of using them is that they're water soluble. So if you'll notice, like on my green, I'm going to be going over this green with green paint. And up here I had blue where I'm going to be going over it with blue paint. So as it blends into the paint, it vanishes. The nice thing about watercolor pencils, whereas like if you bought just charcoal or chalk, you might not have a color that's a good complement to what you're painting. But with watercolor pencils, you can lightly sketch in with that to a color that would match your paint.
Gotcha.
See?
Then that's probably a lot nicer than having that charcoal.
Well, the charcoal, all of them will bleed through. The one, if you have a way of sketching in, and you don't want it to bleed through, you can always just do a light little matte varnish just to tack it down.
Cool.
Not like a thick coat. You just want to like fix it to your canvas and not have it bleed through. And even gloss medium and varnish too will sometimes get that bleeding to stop.
Oh, there's so many people here. Just wanted to say, we're 266 people here, and like 189 likes, and everybody is just hopping. There's a lot of new people out here. Ramona's new.
Hi, Ramona.
I saw I just caught her coming by. There's so I see
what's
Honor
happening?
out here, and Elizabeth, and Mona came by, and
I thought we were going to have Honor today,
see
Elizabeth.
Donna's been here. A lot of her.
I knew we were going to have Donna. I wonder if Millie's here today.
A lot of our friends. See Kevin and just I can't say it's like it's. I feel like romper room up in here. Just
Well,
saying
I think
hello
we
to all
all
my
need
friends.
a little trip to Oz. So you can just see as I'm coming down how much my sky is lightening.
Oh,
Just gives a beautiful effect, doesn't it?
yeah. You know what also has been really fun is that I've been hanging out with a lot of the community on the chat on the website
Have
between
you?
the events. Yeah, Dominic's been out there, and of course a lot of our moderators are all out there, and Daisy, I saw.
I love that the chats go on even
yeah.
after the show is over now.
And I have to say thank you to all you guys. A lot of you have been really helping me out, giving a lot of support there on making sure we get that all the new little nuances worked out, and like the forums are all working well now. And so thank you guys so much for that.
I am super happy with that sky, y'all.
That is a cool. I'm gonna back out just a touch.
So what I was really looking for is to having this dark kind of atmosphere up here, and then this blending. Sometimes this camera is so blown out that the white reads really hot. But what you're really going for is just sort of this robin's egg blending down here. And it's lovely. That's one of the places that the phthalo lends itself to.
Gotcha.
I'm going to wipe off my brush and put it in water. And I'm going to get my dome brush. This is my dome brush. Now, dome brushes, they come in a lot of different filaments, as do the Deerfoot stipplers, which Angela likes to use. Angela's on at 2 with her Angel. Anyways, I like one with a very kind of stiff, way too scratchy, that you would never think this was functional. You'd think of this in stenciling terms for the stiffness, and it's got a nice dome. This particular one is 3/4 inch, and they're by Craftsmart. It's not like, I'm not saying this is a good brush. I'm saying this is just a brush that works.
Right.
And so I'm going to put out some white paint like you do. And I'm going to show you what I call technique cloud. And technique cloud is about using some properties of the paint media and your brush and understanding shapes to create an illusion of an object like a cloud. So clouds are not, solid objects.
Now this is
You see through them.
Would you say this is a 2-hoot painting?
Yeah, I'd say this is 2 hoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm going to come just above my halfway mark, making little swirls like you do, swirling around. I have the white and the glazing medium.
So like we have a little brush, Annabeth.
Hi, Annabeth.
She's 7. She's 7.
Hi, hi, Annabeth at 7.
And this is totally like little brushes can take this on too. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is totally in the realm for that.
Yeah, it's going to get you totally ready for all your art stuff at school. You'll be like, yeah, I got this. I know how to do clouds and rainbows.
Maybe.
I'm ready. I can do a city. My daughter saw my city, and she's like, how'd you do that? I'm going to show you how I did it, and anyone can do that city.
All little brushes out there.
Yeah, don't ever feel because you're young or old that you can't do something in art. That's the 2 groups that decide that their age impacts their art. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are, you can do stuff. I'm loading up. You can see I just load up the edge here.
Little brush Dean is painting with us too.
It really?
Yeah. He's very excited.
This is a good day. I'm excited about this. You can see I'm just sort of rolling this in, and what I'm trying to do is go up and down. The paint underneath is still a little bit wet, so it'll blend in. Some of the paint will catch.
Josie.
I'm trying to make crazy free-form shapes because clouds, well, they're just random. Can you kind of see how it goes ups and down? And if
I'm
you
gonna
find
zoom in
you've
on that a
cloned, I feel like I've cloned here.
Okay.
I feel like I've cloned here, which means I've repeated the shapes too much. So I'm going to break it up by adding another little poof up, little updraft right here. Because what I don't want is clones.
Ah.
I want to have random shapes. I want it to feel like there's air, there's currents, the sun is refracting off the moisture in the clouds. We're getting the shadow. Clouds have highlights where the sun hits them and shadows underneath, so they have form just like anything else. I'm going to make another little friendly cloud friend down here. These are light, but it tells us a lot about a clear, cool day. This is particularly useful right now because as the weather cools down, we get these kind of insanely clear days.
Oh, yeah.
That are just brisk and cool. So can you see how that brush kind of does the work for me?
Oh, yeah.
And it creates this feeling of cloud. Our brain says cloud. It's not like, that isn't accurate. We're not just cloud painting.
So that's why I was like, why can't I see?
And also because one of the things to think of, if you're not using a reference, is another time to know your technique painting. Nothing wrong with technique painting. Some great technique paintings. Just recognizing our terminology.
So
going up, 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 up.
Thorny
Winds
Gate.
pushing up, 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 up. Lightly scrumbling.
So Thornygate had this really interesting comment she said that ever since she's been doing paintings here, she notices the colors on everything and how patterns can be done. And is this, is she just crazy, or is this just something that comes with?
Yeah, it's like honestly, I feel like being indoctrinated into art is like going to Hogwarts or becoming a magician.
Mm-hmm.
You just start to see the other side of the world. And sometimes I do feel like I'm having a different experience than people around me. Like if I'm in the post office line and it's going to be really long, I'm working up here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
mixing colors. I'm working on my perspective. I'm just arting all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And it is something that you do when you start to crack that nut, it
Right.
cracks. And you start to really just see the world more deeply. It's incredible. I think that's why arting is such a good thing for people to do. All right, so see how I'm trying to make the front ends of these clouds just a little brighter?
Mm-hmm.
And it's what I'm not painting, especially, for your new brushes and little brushes. Sometimes what you don't paint is as important as what you do paint. You're letting the mind of the person coming in finish the work for you. You're leaving room for the viewer.
Yeah. Now, so there was a question about that. Tiara was saying, Tiara was asking, where'd you get the Cheshire Cat cup? But Moria was asking, what do you mean by technique-based painting?
Okay. So there's lots of ways to be creative. And one of the ways to be creative is technique-based, where I understand how my paint performs and my brush loads, and I understand how certain illusions are created on the canvas. And so therefore, using that, I can paint objects like a tree. Good famous examples of this are a Bob Ross tree and a fan brush.
Oh, so do you have any big ArtQuest stuff on this?
We're going to go into it more. I think these are things I want to really do.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in the ArtQuest a lot. Like when we got in, we were painting clouds. Because there's painting an object that you're looking at, and you're just painting the highlights and the lowlights, and you're painting what you see, and you're not really depending on brushstrokes as much as observation.
And
But then there's knowing that a dome brush loaded a certain way that you scrumble up and down will create the feeling of a cloud.
Yeah, Lisa has thrown up a link to the big ArtQuest there
Cool.
in chat for us. So there's a lot more information there for you guys.
So the thing about the big ArtQuest to know is that we don't assess value and don't say, well, this is more valuable in art than another thing. We just talk about what it is. I can't say that observational painting is somehow more valuable than technique-based painting in any way. Mm-hmm. They're just two paths, two processes to get the job done. How you do the job, though, that's up to you. Right? The great Russian houses... Obviously, those are technique-based paintings when you look at those incredible fine works of inlay and enamel.
Right.
That's all technique. But is that still in a museum? Yes, it is. Now, I'm not saying Donna Dewberry is the same as a Russian house of painters, but I'm saying there's similar thinking there, isn't there? I'm going to let this dry for a minute because I want the sky to be very dry when I put in my rainbow and my castle. And I can, while I'm sitting here, do my underpainting work.
Okay.
Which is the first layer of paint that I'm going to apply, that I'm going to layer all my other paint on.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to get this fabulous number 8 brush. Those of you that know I'm on a brush quest again. It is what it is. I'm pulling out, you saw that here's an interesting thing you might not know. So I loaded my brush.
Hold on, let me get that out of the way.
And I drag off extra water. You can actually see it now, it has some pigment in it. So I'm taking out the extra water. You don't want a ton of water on the brush if you're going to use water to thin your paint. And I'm going to take my burnt sienna and mix it into my phthalo green because there's quite a lot of red in this. It will darken and grade out objects that are further away on your landscape. Can be dark and grayed out. It's a good way of pushing them back. Brighter, warmer colors pull forward. Darker, cooler colors push back. Grayed colors push back. And I really look how nice this brush performs around the corner here. Isn't that nice?
Meow. Look at your driver.
Wait, it's going to do it again. It's going to do it again. It's going to go like this. It's going to flare out. See, this is making me work less. Defining my line. And also that helps me test the line. If I can also flip it, then I'm testing the line of a brush.
Huh.
So when I'm looking for a brush that I get excited about, that I can recommend, what I'm looking for is how the brush performs on the canvas and the comfort and ease it is in my hand. How it wears against the nonsense that is my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm fighting it, I don't like to fight my brush. Right? Some brushes, you'll fight them.
Yeah.
If this brush were too soft right now, I wouldn't really be able to effectively get the paint on here. And I'd have to be thinning the paint to a more soft-bodied consistency.
Now, Rachel was asking here, could you do the clouds with a sponge?
Yeah.
Is that another technique?
That is a technique-based way of getting the clouds in.
Gotcha.
Don't let people make you feel bad about technique-based painting. It's and not many people will, but on the rare occasion you have somebody that comes by and gives you grief.
Yeah.
You know, that speaks more to what they have going on in their art practice than what you have going on in yours.
Yeah.
To a complainer, I never follow up and go, wow, they really paint well. You know, it's always somebody that's in practice, they're in their journey. Generally people that have really come along and really paint, they just respect other creative people. In my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just lucky. So I'm just not having to be that particular about this. I just need this first color.
You're just blocking in some color there.
I'm just and you can see it's streaky, my canvas is showing through, and all of that is okay.
All right.
Because there's a lot that's going to be going on here.
You're just trying to put some color on there.
I'm just trying to get some color on this canvas that I know I'm going to be building up from. And I know this hill builds up from this color base, and this one builds up, believe it or not, from yellow ochre.
Whoop, I better come over here and see this.
So it's sort of interesting. And this is a good time if I want to change anything about how I sketched it in. I can do that.
Now, someone was asking earlier about yellow ochre, and was it the same as another color?
Yellow oxide.
Yellow oxide. Are they the same?
I almost need to do a quest on this because it's just one of those weird things. For the purposes of 99% of painters, they are. For the purposes of oil painters and people that get really high quality paints, they are not.
Gotcha. So they're very similar.
Yeah.
But not the same.
And oftentimes considered interchangeable, and sometimes paint companies label them you remember how we had that black quest where we looked at all the black paints and Liquitex had a tube called Ivory Black, but really it was bone black?
Gotcha. And that's because they don't use ivory, they use bone.
And so if you want to know if it's the exact same as something else, if you're is this the exact same color? It doesn't really matter what it is. Look at, here, I got it here.
The what they call it now?
Right here, the PY43, right there. If I had a different paint tube, I could show it to you. They'll all have the pigment.
Hold on, I think I got one here.
Right here.
Oh, look, there. Oh, there it is.
And if they're ASTMD, there's some, okay. Yeah, like, okay. So, series 2, I think theirs is on the back side. Where is it? There it is. PY 139, PB 15-3, PBK 11. These are the pigments. Here's some raw sienna. Okay, I'm running out of hands, but you can see. Okay, there it is. There it is again. There's the pigment, PY 42. So that's what you're looking. And if they match up, if your ochre and your oxide match up, then they're probably the same. If they don't, then they are not. And that's why sometimes you would see that on a pigment you don't expect, because ochres actually are sourced from different areas. They're not sourced from the same thing. There's natural ochres and there's synthetic ochres. There's ochres made from a mineral in the earth. And then there's ochres that are chemically created. Not the same thing. But for the purposes of every tube of student paint, it is.
Gotcha.
I sometimes I feel bad because there's just not a yes-no answer in art, and I think that's why people sometimes end up standing in the art aisle just looking confused, stressed out, and overwhelmed.
So Tanya was asking, do you have a technique for easily finding out where the highlights and shadows would go? She's having a hard time with that. How would you,
I do.
What would you suggest?
So your light source tells you everything.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've determined where you think your light source is coming from, it will help inform you of where even in a fantasy painting it would be. So if you're saying the sun is above and maybe to the left here, then you know your light's going to hit.
Oh, your arm's right there in the way. There you go.
All right, but if it's coming like from this direction, if it's coming from the left, where is it going to hit everything? At an angle. Right?
Gotcha.
On that right side. If it were coming from this direction, it would hit everything.
On that side?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have trouble with right and left is my issue. So left side if it's coming from the left side, right side if it's coming from the right side. If it's coming overhead, shadows will weight heavily down here and things will be lit up top. Right? Then, let's say there was a little hill here, an object that you put here, but you would have this one bigger and over it. If that light source is coming there, you just have to know this one is going to hit that one with a shadow.
Now, I remember you taught me a trick for when looking at a photo or a picture.
How to tell what to paint first?
Yeah.
Whatever is furthest away from you, the viewer, in the photo is what you lay down on the canvas first.
Yeah.
So, if you have a picture of stars, the starry night sky, what's the furthest thing? What would take you?
The
stars.
Yeah.
Right? What's the next object? It's the moon. What's the next object? It's the clouds. What's the next object? It's the mountains. What's the next object? It's that stream coming towards you. What's the next object? It's the guy sitting in the front of the picture playing fishing.
Yeah.
So that is a good way of determining that. Now this particular ochre is a little transparent, so I'm going to add a smidge of yellow to it and a little burnt sienna to make it more robust. What I want here is these to have a very light yellow cast under the hill, because I want them to feel like they're closer to me than anything else in the painting. And I'm going to paint that in, just paint it in. So this is totally your underpainting. In landscape painting, we can do this type of layered painting, or we do value painting.
Cool.
Which is a little bit harder.
Come zoom in on some more of that.
Because then you work a big brush and you just hit the values and you just put down little colors of paint and then it...
You talk with your
That's
hands
how the daily
I can't
painters
zoom
do
in
it.
too much.
What? What am I doing?
You talk with your hands, so sometimes I zoom in too much and I miss some.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just...
I talk with my hands, y'all, and then I talk. I get a lot of notes on the fact that I talk. You talk the entire lesson. Yes, I do. I do talk the entire lesson. Come to my studio. It would be the same thing, except there's music and wine.
There's
and
a
there's
lot.
hugs.
Well, you have a lot to talk about here. There's a lot to teach.
There is.
There's hills of poppies.
There's hills of poppies, and I need to explain how you get them, because
Now-
at the end of the day, I want you to have a successful painting.
Can you explain? Wait, don't. You just covered up some of those little white dots. I still see some.
I'm going to have them over here.
Yeah, why are those
Well,
coming?
I'm still covering them up.
Yeah.
So there's a combination of things that are currently happening on this canvas. If I were on a Frederick's canvas,
Yeah.
can I just plead with my community? We're on a Frederick's canvas. None of this would be a thing. I really have to tell you, I've been painting on them for years, and I've never had to think so much about my ground since I got on cheap canvases. In fact, I have come to wonder how cheap canvases are. If I have to do, because for me to make this like my Fredericks would be, I would have to sit there and do so much surface prep to get a beautiful surface. Because they send it to me with correct surface. Is all I'm going to, now I have to sip. Now y'all got me on a soapbox. But because these canvases are inexpensive and manufactured in parts unknown, overseen in methods unknown, coated with who knows what to prevent that weird mold that shows up on some of these canvases now. Never saw that in my life before.
No.
Only in 16 by 20s. It's an interesting thing. It creates, there's a surface that's resistant to paint, and then on top of it, you have whatever's happening on your paint, your brush, and your water.
Yeah. Now, we have Laverine asks a very good question. So, do we need a more expensive canvas if we're for selling purposes?
Yes.
It definitely matters for the quality and longevity, and like how the frame.
Beautiful stretchers, wide,
they don't
hung, ready to go. The canvas matters, the paint matters, the finish matters, and the more that you can talk to your collectors about the work, the craftsmanship, and the integrity you put into that work, the more your price, which is your everything as an artist, will be justified. And it's just a reality between you and the collectors, right? You're just in this constant dance. If you're going to be painting with very impermanent materials on very unreliable surfaces, you better have a really good art reason for it. Now, there are people who do. Everybody Google Andy Goldsworthy. His work is entirely based in impermanent materials. In fact, oftentimes it won't be there, but for, what is that?
Oh, I was just, I was going to, if you wanted to look at a lot of the more inexpensive canvases, you can see that they have knots in the wood.
Yeah.
The frame is pieced together from multiple pieces of wood. The way that they attach the canvas in the back, it's just not, they don't do the right kind of folded corner tuck. There's a lot of little things that go into a quality canvas versus an inexpensive canvas.
Some artists will stretch. I can do this. My mom can do this. Stretch your own canvas to get the cost of production down, but keep the quality up.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where for when you're doing paintings for your home or for your friend's home, and you're
on a budget,
fine. Yeah,
and that is fine. Respect the budget, because nothing will ruin an art experience like going over budget.
Yeah, we couldn't paint 50, 60 paintings a month
on Fredericks. I can't right now
because we couldn't afford it. But
not that they're expensive. I could probably do it on boards. I've been looking at that.
Yeah,
because there are inexpensive options. Switching to canvas boards is one of them.
But we go through a lot of canvases. So
we do. And I don't have to gesso over that many. Some of them I have to gesso over, but I don't have to gesso over that many. I actually have a study I did before this one that didn't work out that I'm going to have to cover up.
But,
I can show that to you later.
Yeah, you like to use the Fredericks and the nice canvases when you're doing show stuff. And
I have a number 6 bright here that I'm loading with my burnt sienna. I'm going to put a little titch of blue into it to deepen it. Very small amount. If I did a lot, it would go green. So I want it to still be brown.
Cinnamon?
Yeah?
Do you know what time it is?
It's not Sherpa time,
It is Sherpa time. You should just look up and just look at these people. They're here to Sherpa with you. They are.
I need a tune, because otherwise I don't do a good dance even with a tune.
And we are almost double Sherpa right now. You have 298, 300 likes. We are double Sherpa right now. 300 and 300. Look at that.
Doesn't that mean I get a kiss?
That means you get a kiss. I'll give you a kiss. In my pajamas, nonetheless. See? Pajamas. I'm in pajamas today.
I'm going to take this and paint in very carefully with my number 6. Right?
Oh, you get up there so I can see that.
This right here is a ruby satin. And I'm going to just come along and put this in very carefully. Just to lay that first layer down. It will be adjusted and changed. I want to put it in with this deep color because as I lighten the road, I want it to really show. And this should have given enough time for my sky to dry for the castle and my rainbow. I'm hoping our little brushes are still with us.
Oh my gosh, we have over 300 people here and 325 likes, and everybody is they're celebrating that they are also in their pajamas having a good time.
Good for you guys.
We're having a
I
Sherpa
so
pajama
appreciate
party.
y'all not pressuring me to do these shortened, fast-forwarded lessons all the time. Because it's nice to be able to get down into how we actually do this. Because at the end of the day, I want you to be able to paint it. And the more I shorten a lesson, if it takes me 3 hours to paint it, but I shorten it to 30 minutes, then really I've just not told you about an hour and a half worth of stuff you needed to know.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes, and also like a lot of you guys are painting along with us, and you know it's good for you guys to be able to ask the questions, and we really like being able to help you out because it's nice to see all of you guys do these paintings.
But we do have recorded ones. We don't really fast forward a lot through them because again,
Nope.
I don't want to, you know, somehow take 3 hours and then make it 30 and then be like, oh, because then you're going to be like, wow, it's not taking me 30 minutes.
We have lots of new people here with us in the live today, and they're all really enjoying having the chance to come chat with us. And
That is awesome.
so I have to say I love having you guys out here with me. It makes the chat and what I do behind the scenes here so much more pleasurable to see you guys with me and hang out and have the jokes. So, you know, thank you for being here with me.
All right. I'm going to show you my plate trick.
Oh, what's your plate trick?
Everything's dry.
Is it?
Yeah.
What are you looking for down there?
A white chalk pencil and a dinner plate. Now, look, lots of ways that you can get a circle on a canvas. Lots of ways that you can do this. You can do the string where you go woo and you have the thing tied to it. You can use the protractor.
Protractor, yep. You could use a string. You could use a
I'm suck at all those. So I generally find a plate or pot lid or a paint bucket lid or any round object that some other engineering team has made round. When I used to do pottery, it was all artisanal, which just means hot mess. Anyhow, I'm going to come, I want my city to be here and I want my arc to come up over it. So I'm going to place my plate, and this is just going to give me guide.
Let's see if I can get that.
To do my rainbow in, because I just won't necessarily have that steady of an arc on my own. Just how I am.
That looks good. I like it.
I went off camera to
You
put away my plate.
disappeared.
Now here's my trick for painting your rainbow.
What's the trick?
Get your beautiful, well-crafted number 6 of some awesome brush with good filaments.
I just had a reading rainbow moment.
Did you have a reading rainbow
I
moment?
had a reading rainbow moment.
What was that?
Reading rainbow. Didn't you watch that when you were a kid, man?
Yeah,
I love that.
So,
Geordie LaForge.
yeah, that's how it was for me. I was like, it's Geordie's reading books. Geordie looks good. They fixed his eyes. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want this to curve around, and I know about how wide I want it, which is really no more than an inch. And I'm going to paint this in white first, the shape of my rainbow. I may paint, and I'm going to be as following my guide curve as I can.
Mm-hmm.
and just put a little white here. This is going to be especially important if you're painting student paints. This will be like a make or break if you're painting student paints. But even for pro paints, I think I'm recommending this. And then I'm going to let it feather down. Okay? Because all rainbows, they kind of vanish, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They don't go straight to the ground. Just trying to have a nice little curve that feels rainbow-ish to you. Do your best. Use clean water on this one. And I'm going to even, this paint isn't dry yet, so look, I can come erase it. I don't know if y'all know you can do this. But if the paint underneath is dry for real, you can do some subtractive method in acrylic paint.
So Nicole was asking, if you're using, if you're painting with student grade paints, would you still be able to start with the dark color and then lighten and then add lighter layers?
You just may need more layers, and you may sometimes need to give yourself, like here, see how I'm doing this white, and on Van Gogh Sunflowers, I painted in the petals white. So sometimes you'll need to know, hey, my paint isn't going to cover that. So if it's going to be a bright spot of yellow, I'm going to have to underpaint it white first.
Mm-hmm.
Is what you're going to have to do. Next awesome tool you need.
What tool do you need?
Such the awesome tool is incredibly cheap T-square.
Right? What do you do with said T-square?
You paint an emerald city.
What?
My friend. You put this little sucker right where your road is going to start going. And let's take a little of our phthalo green over to our cad yellow, making a bright and cheerful yellow. I'm even going to add some white to this. This is loaded on the edge of my brush. And you're going to just use the ruler and come up a few inches and make a spire. Now, skip over.
What brush are you using there?
I am using a number 6 Ruby Satin by Silver.
Okay.
Bright.
Number 6.
Number 6. You could use a 4. I'm going to make another little line here. Now, I need to have a taller or shorter line in here because the city, right, like any other city, I'm going to maybe grab some more green paint this time. So this next one is darker. Come up here real tall, real tall. Really tall. This one can be real short.
I like the Emerald City. It's so cool.
It is cool, man. And this is the basis by which you can build this sucker.
You know, I just think I like. So how are you getting the paint to be so mixy? Because it doesn't. I'm going to zoom in on that because
now I'm going to need to wipe this periodically.
It's all streaky. Oh, you're.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get the paint to be so streaky like that? Because it looks like it's blending green and yellow there together.
I don't over mix on my palette. So see how right here it's a mix of different.
Oh yeah, it's all
brush.
mixed up right in there. So as
Yeah.
you do it, it just kind of.
Right now I'm just trying to create some city balance. You'll be my tallest spire. Every time I do one of these emerald cities, I'm a bit of a different city planner. It's true. I'm just like, I'm going to get more yellow on this one and maybe a little white. And then if you need to pull it off, but you can see I'm starting to make these spires, and from here I can hand paint in even if I don't have a perfectly steady hand. You can always go back. I'm going to put a couple little outliers here. And then one last little outlier. So this is right now my city. I may build out to the left.
Mm-hmm.
But my first trick is like values and stuff. So my outer corner I really want to be bright yellow green. So I'm going to use a lot of yellow. And I'm going to come here. And I'm going to pull back a square using the shape of my brush to pull it back. And then I'm going to pull up a couple buildings. Maybe make this one not a perfect little line here. See?
Yeah.
Isn't that fun? It better be fun because I like it.
I like it too.
Then I'm going to come here with a darker spot of green. Look at that. I did a darker spot of green. And I'm pulling this up. Come and pull that up on the flat. Look how it starts to blend this distant city.
Oh, yeah.
Wiping off my brush. I think I'll take a little of my blue over to my green, deepening it. Let's make this part of the city a little darker. In the center here. Pull this up. Look at that nice value. So one of the things that make this Emerald City work, guys, is the values and the gemmy tones. This is where phthalo is your friend.
Ooh.
It's your friend and it loves you. Come out here maybe and work this a little bit. Maybe pull a little kind of square shape. And you can see where using that T-square allowed you to get these feelings to the top of the...
Rocam keeps wanting to zoom in on me.
Okay. Now,
No, that's fine.
on some of these, look at this. I'm going to come on just dab a couple little dots floating out over. Even maybe make some cross structures here. That implies some city.
That is neat. That just...
Be whimsical in this space. You want to. I'm going to get some more of my dark color again because I really like to break it up. I like the city to have some dimension. And pull some of this out. Something funny?
Joanne's...
This is our children murdering each other.
What do I do with all these paintings? She's running out of wall
Joanne,
space.
that is my problem too. There is this point where you're just like, I got a lot of art, and then you start joining art abandonment groups. That's how they get you.
Art abandonment groups?
No, there's this thing where it's art abandonment. There's a group on Facebook. It's not mine. I'm a member. And the whole thing is about like that you on your social media say, this will be somewhere in the city, and you give a clue. And you take a picture of it and you abandon it. And then you come back and see if anybody got it. That can also be disheartening.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't encourage that behavior.
I don't know. I do it. Not when John's looking. John is not like, he does not encourage art abandonment. He's right.
No, I do not.
I'm going to put a little shadow here in the city. See how that creates a little depth? Maybe another little one right here. You just want to build out your Emerald City. You really do.
Yeah.
You really do. I'm going to get a lot of white on my brush with that yellow and green. There you go. See how that's like a city now? All right, so we have a city. We're super proud of it. You're probably already like, that is my favorite thing about the painting. And I'm going to get a smaller brush. I want something about a number 2 bright because I want to have a lot of control over my line. And now I'm going to put out my red. Now on this painting, you'll notice that we have Cad Red Medium and Cad Red Light. If you have both of those, that's perfect. That's my favorite color combo for poppies and things. But look, what you want is a cooler red and a warmer red that you're playing those against. So if you don't have those, just have a crimson and like a pearl or some type of brighter, warmer red. Like a, you know, like alizarin is cooler than naphthol crimson, even though they're both kind of cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you just want one. And so I'm going to put out my cooler red of the two, which is the Cad Red Medium. And I'm going to put it here so you can see it because I know I got picture in picture. And I'm going to start my rainbow in red. I'm going to use a little of my glazing medium for fluidity. My white underpainting is dry here.
Oh, yeah, you're up on the rainbow.
Oh, I got to dry my city, otherwise I'll drag city all over the painting.
All right. Take that off there. So I'm going to say, wow, there's like over 325 people and 350 likes. Thank you guys so much. I can't tell you how in awe I am when you guys turn out and just come hang out with us. I love, love, love to see all of your paintings that you guys do. So please post those up. Please come out and join us on TheArtSherpa.com. So much stuff going on out there. The chat's working. So everyone comes and hangs out there after the show. All that cinnamon, get back to painting. But yeah, love seeing you guys. Thanks for coming.
Just let you do your thing, babe.
Oh, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share. We haven't
definitely.
said that.
Definitely. I'm going to put out some more glazing liquid because you know how I am about that.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the share button. Hit them. Hit the buttons, please.
I'm going to also have to put out my Cad Red Light right now. I might as well put out my Dioxazine while I'm at it.
Your Dioxazine.
My Dioxazine
Am I
purple.
even saying that right? Dioxazine?
Yeah, Diox.
Diox.
I just dropped my cap. You know I hate when I do that.
You do. They roll away.
So if you have concerns about cadmium, just switch to hue. There is no cadmium pigment in hue.
Yes.
None. And you can tell, but there's none.
And where do we get that Sherpa swag?
Oh, you mean this awesome, brilliant shirt
Yeah,
that says,
The Art Sherpa.
follow your art.
Follow your art.
You can get that at TheArtSherpa.com shop.
Shop.TheArtSherpa.com.
Yeah, that thing.
Yep. And we'll
Mugs and tote bags and
all that kind
art
of fun
game.
stuff. Oh, there you go.
All of that stuff. All right. So I've got my rainbow happening here. As I'm coming down my rainbow, like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do. As I'm coming down. It's going to lighten, and you can do this by a glaze or a dry brush. Either's fine. But what you want is this to sort of taper off and become a little bit transparent. Right? Now, I'm going to wipe this off. I'm going to get a little of my Cad Red Light because this makes my favorite orange when it mix it with Cad Yellow. If you just have Cad Orange, you could do that instead, by the way.
Uh-huh.
You just happen to have a good orange in your kit and caboodle. And I'm going to come between, right next to the the red here, and I'm going to add this little bit of an orange. Real thin, real fine. If you've been really working your rainbows lately, this is the beginning of that whole set of skills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just lightly rinse that out. You can guess what we get next.
What do we get next?
Does anyone know what comes in the rainbow next? Yellow is the next color. And I like it.
Do you?
I do. I like having yellow as the next color. You really want your rainbow to be bright. All right, so once we have that right there, then you can go over to your green. And I actually like to mix a little yellow into my green so it's slightly brighter green than this deep green. I get a little of my glazing medium so the thing flows out. And my next little stripe is my green. When it gets softer and sort of blended here, right, because we want it to disappear. If you have a boo-boo, like I do right there, where it goes up in, it's okay because you're going to be painting over it with the blue and then the purple. All right?
Nice, yeah.
So I'm going to get just my blue. You can add a little purple to it, but I'm going to just do my blue. I'm going to get a smidge of white so is visible. I'm going to go right next to the green with the blue.
Oh, yeah.
Clean up any boo-boo I have, which you can see is cleaning up right there. Using the edge of my brush. So we're really close, right?
Yeah. I like it.
It's doable. The trick with the dioxazine for the rainbow is to add white to the purple. If you don't add white to the purple, it doesn't really show up as purple. Dioxazine only reads as purple when it has some white added in. And this is the only place you needed any purple in the painting. And you're probably going, oh, but I should have mixed red and blue. But the red and blues we have in this painting don't make purple, so we couldn't. Because phthalo blue and none of the Cad Reds ever make purple.
Right. And that's what also makes this purple pop against this, huh?
Yeah, because it's just pure right out of the tube. So it's garish, which we want.
Oh, yeah.
We want it to be garish. I'm using my glazing medium to blend. Right. And there we go. Nice little rainbow off the canvas. And you can go back if you need it to be brighter, right? Once it's dry, you can go back with more paint to brighten up any of the colors.
Oh, yeah. Just make them pop up.
Yep. And then just let the blend happen.
Now, how come you don't take the rainbow all the way to the ground?
Well, mostly because I looked at gazillion pictures of rainbows, and they don't. You probably know the light reason why they don't go to the ground, but they don't. And if you paint it to the ground, it will look less real.
Mm-hmm.
So even in surrealism, when we're trying to like change what we're seeing, if we're still trying to say that these objects could exist in the world, we have to pay attention to horizon lines and some perspective. And like even when we're making things up out of our head, you have to pay a little bit of attention to perspective and object relationships. Otherwise, they don't make sense in the space. It'll be weird, but you won't know why it's weird.
Now,
Happens to me all the time.
If you were just going to tip yourself right off the internet meme scale, could you put a double rainbow on this?
You could.
You could just go crazy and double
You
rainbow.
could have, it's Oz. It would be here, and they would be shorter and less visible. If you're going to do a double or triple rainbow, remember that the subsequent rainbows will not have the vibrancy of the main one.
And they're approximately half the distance out from the first. So
yeah. Good job.
Yeah, you just have, as long as you're doing a couple math things, either it has to be half or double in order for it to look right. The distance from the center or from the radius, you'll have to. The radius
There's
of
rainbow math. We should do a video.
We should
rainbow
do
math.
some optics, like how you can do optical tricks.
Optic math for rainbows. Do you need more rainbows out of your internet kitty?
Well, you can.
Perhaps you do. Need more rainbows out of internet kitties.
I think that as kids we knew more about rainbows because we played with garden hoses in the sun.
Yep.
And so you can make rainbows that way and see how they move around. And as a painter, I highly suggest you go try this now as an adult because you'll see some new things.
I highly recommend it. I'm taking a little of my phthalo green and my burnt sienna and a little, believe it or not, of my phthalo blue because I'm trying to make my darkest value. And I'm going to come along my road here, and just around my road, I'm going to create my darkest value. And what that says about this space, besides the fact that it's in shadow, it also says that maybe there's more moisture or water here, that the grass is shorter. It tells you a lot about this road space. So I'm pulling this deep value. And you'll notice that this second coat of paint really deepens whatever's happening in the canvas. As I'm also going along, pulling out the burnt sienna, I'm going to have to put out some more. And the blue. All right. I'm going to make sure that I have a little bit of this edge of darkness coming down this hill. I'm going to scrumble this up a little bit and then down. I don't want to do a stripe. One of the things I'm always trying to do is to make sure that I've got uneven shapes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what's happening back there.
I don't know. Lena's incredibly bizarre sense of justice. She wants to be a bounty hunter, I think.
You know, we have almost 400 likes out here and over 300 people watching us today.
I'm wanting to see a lot of landscapes, though. As I'm coming around here, I'm also, you can see I'm darkening around this edge here.
Uh-huh. They're ready for some Oz, and they're loving it. And there's a lot of Roy G. Biv conversation happening. Everyone's remembering old Roy. You remember Roy G. Biv?
Yes, I do. Right now, my favorite is that the channel Macaroon does it with rabbits on YouTube.
Oh.
It's pretty funny. They're always having babies or something like that. It's like she's got some other little poem. But I was like, that's the first new take on that I've heard in a long time. So see how I've created these dark values here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put a little bit of my burnt sienna out because I'm not done.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm not done with my landscape.
So
there's going to be some scrumbling. I want you to pull your inner scrumble on. Kiss your brush, but not if you have Cad on it.
So not everybody knows who Roy G. Biv is in chat.
I'm going to let you do that while I'm pulling out some of this right here. I am pulling this out.
So Mr. Biv is the way that...
I shall sip while you're explaining it.
Mr. Biv is the guy who we were all introduced to as kids to remember how the order of the rainbow went. And it's Roy, red, orange, yellow, G, green, and then Biv, which was blue, indigo, and violet. So, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. There you go.
There you go.
Roy G. Biv.
I'm going to pull a little of my phthalo green out into my yellow ochre. And we talked about this earlier. So I see the rainbow here, and I can see where the light is hitting my castle. So I know I got some light coming from over here. So then I'm going to make this hillside more in the light.
Gotcha. Let me bring
with this yellow ochre. Right along here. And I'm going to try to really make my space into my roadway uneven. And I'm going to light up this hill a little bit more. Light it up. Light up your hills. Light them up. Sing the song. The hills are alive. Sing it. Be there. I know that's not Oz.
Rick says you have not obligatorily reminded people not to eat their paint today.
Oh, please don't eat your paint.
Okay, just thanks, Rick.
It's not just cadmium, by the way. That's just the very exciting paint to talk about right now. It's not. There's a whole bunch of paint that you shouldn't eat.
We'll just go with none of them.
None. Frankly, sometimes I think the edible paints aren't that edible. Though my very good friend over at Mommy Hack said we're going to do something to test that. You'll see me eat some paint. So see how I've just lightened that a bit? And I'm going to do the same here because there would be a lot of light right here, wouldn't there?
Yeah. Although I really think that they should call...
Pulling out some more ochre.
Instead of calling it food coloring, it should be called poo coloring.
I'm not laughing at that. That's not happening. I'm doing the same thing. This hill I have slightly lighter.
Hey, you guys wanted to talk about rainbows, right?
What?
You guys wanted to talk about rainbows.
Oh, no. No, we're not going to squatty potty, are we?
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that.
I'm so sorry, Internet, I went there. Because I don't just make YouTube videos, I watch them. And for a little while, Squatty Potty was an ad on my videos, and it made me so happy. But then people wrote us, and they were like, this is terrible. And I'm like, I'm not in charge of any of the ads.
It'll be the secret link of the day. We're not going to link it. You got to go find it.
You gotta find it. Just look up Squatty Potty.
Yeah.
Squatty the potty. Oh, such good times.
Yeah.
But I looked at that and was just like, I will never make anything that valuable for the internet. I will teach people to paint all over the world. I will hopefully help a lot of young artists realize that they're valuable. All kinds of good stuff will happen, but I will never make anything as good as the Squatty Potty video. I'm going to add a little more green to it, and I'm going to kind of just try to, with my brush stroke, you can see I'm curving it down. Just create this space of a hill, and I want to make sure that I'm encroaching a little bit on my road with my color so that it's, and I'll have to do that a bit more when I get a smaller brush.
So Ian
Having a whole little moment over here.
Ian learned the rainbow in a little bit different way. It was Richard of York gave battle in vain. The colors of the rainbow. That's another good way of doing it.
Yep. I'm still with the rabbits are always giving birth on YouTube.
If you're from America, you're like, who's Richard of York? Where is York a place?
All I
Why
know
were they
is
fighting?
during Next Up, Vicky, my roommate, could say this poem about George's pudding and his guts were tied up like string in this British accent. We just kept making her say over and over, and it only got funnier. Unlike my video, which got less funny. All right, so I have this basis in, but I'm not done, my friends.
What? Oh, no. What else do we need to do here?
So many things. But I'm not going to rinse my brush, interestingly enough.
I don't see poppies yet.
It's not time yet.
It's not time. All right.
You don't deserve poppies yet. I'm going to pull out some of this yellow. I'm going to even get a little white into it. But notice it had some green there, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the fact that my palette is messy to make my time here more fun. And I'm going to very lightly, look, I'm going back and forth. My brush pressure is just almost just kissing the canvas, right? Kissing the canvas. I'm going to make a hill. This is a little hilltop. Hilltops are happy. You should always sing weird little songs to know. My kids are going to write this expose and they're going to talk about, and my mom sang everything like we were in a musical and we couldn't make her stop or explain to her, it's not a musical, Mom. It's my life.
Oh, everyone's talking about their little brushes losing teeth out here. It's so cute.
Are they losing teeth?
Honors, Amber Lynn lost, I guess so. Honors little one lost 2 teeth, 2 front teeth, and Amber Lynn's lost her last 6-year-old tooth. And, that's cute.
That's a time in our lives, my friends.
And can you explain what you're doing there with the little scrumbling there? How you're doing that?
Yeah, I could, but we got into teeth.
Oh, no, I explained that there. I'm sorry.
So I'm just skipping along. I've got this brush. You can see how it's loaded on this side. More than this side. The paint's mostly here, more than here. And I'm just very lightly brushing this brush over the top of this. And the canvas is catching the paint for me. And I'm just trying to imagine what I do. This is how I do this. I imagine the light dappling on the hill a little bit. And the deep pockets of grass versus the bright pockets of grass before the poppies are even coming in. Right? I'm going to get a little more of this green and some of this brown. I'm going to come back here and with this dark color and weave it in. Make sure that this is just about tonality. Have some color here. Have some depth. So I've loaded up the brown and the green. And I'm coming here.
Christy thinks that glitter would add some depth.
I think Christy's going to have fun glittering her painting. Tell us how it works out, Christy.
We want to see a picture of that one.
I'm going to pull out a little white and add it to this green and yellow ochre mixture. More ochre. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to just kiss more light to the canvas. Kissing it to the canvas. Hitting this hill. And like my clouds, like everything in nature, it's so important that what I do is I break up the pattern. If you're painting Bob, you're painting any of these landscapes, your skill that's going to help you get the most traction is breaking up the pattern that you're going to want to make. So I'm imagining the shape of the hill, and where I feel it's highest is the brightest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where it's highest, it's the brightest. Where can the sunlight hit my hill? Where it's highest, it's the brightest. I'm so weird.
Well, yes, but you have your own YouTube show.
Oh, isn't it good? Because what else would I do?
Be weird quietly
Be weird
in a room all alone.
quietly.
Well,
All right, so I'm taking a little, I haven't rinsed my brush. I want it a little bit dirty. I'm taking my green over to my yellow. But because it's dirty, it's not going to be crazy bright.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it a little lighter than what I have here. I need a little more yellow in it. All right, like this.
Gotcha.
Very lightly. Very lightly. Just dusting the canvas, letting a bit of the tooth pick the paint off the brush.
Everyone is celebrating their weirddom.
You should always celebrate your weirddom.
Mm-hmm.
I might even put a little bit here, just trying to break up the space along the road. See how I've got that?
Yeah.
Break up the space along. He's on down the road. He's on down the road.
There's been some cool variations on the Wizard of Oz over the years.
Don't you? He's like, don't get content ID'd.
No, I mean.
So I'm just going to dash and dab along. All right, now I'm creating another little bit on the hilltop. So there's some light here, some grass that's further along in the season maybe. All right. Isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving my hill. Do you love my hill? I love my hill.
Do.
I'm going to get some burnt sienna. Just go ahead and just add a little of that a couple places. Like, see right here in the center here, I'm just dusting some down. I'm going to come back towards this green area, and I'm zigging and zagging back and forth. And look how very little I'm actually
zoom in on that.
painting, right? A lot of it isn't hitting the canvas, and I wish you could it's just the lightest touch to the canvas is leaving this paint.
Kelly Joyce likes the supernatural take on Oz.
Yes. I'm also just really loving, They Better Just Never End My Show is really kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I don't think that
I am
those
not
guys
ready
are...
for Sam and Dean to go anywhere, and they just need to recognize that I, as a fan, don't intend to be reasonable about this at all. I'm taking a little of this brown and I'm just dusting up here. So what I'm looking for is places on my landscape. I'm going to put this in some water. I'm going to actually, believe it or not, get a smaller brush. I'm going to get about a number 4 bright.
Mm-hmm.
A number 4. Where, oh where do I want it? Oh, here's one. Got a number 4 bright. I like my number 4 brights. It's about this big compared to my nose. I'm going to get just a little of my yellow ochre.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going to, right here, couple spots over on this hill, hit some like yellow ochre.
It keeps wanting to zoom in there. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's actually the camera is just like, I want to zoom in.
I want to show that some of this is dying back. All right, let's take a little bit of it over here too.
Well, you're all over the place there.
Yeah, I'm just, well, you kind of are in landscape painting. It's probably like the worst day to have to film me ever. Right? I'm going to get a little of my yellow-green loaded on the brush and just make sure that I'm got some of that some places. Like we do. I feel like I've got some just definite stuff is afoot. I'm going to rinse that out, and then I'm going to have a blast doing my favorite thing. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cad Red Light with Cad Yellow, please. I'm going to take my number 4 over to my Cad Yellow. If your palette is skinning and you don't have a wet palette, you can mist it like I do here. That helps a lot. So
Rachel Carr says, click, click, click. There's no place like the Sherpa channel. There's no place like the Sherpa channel.
There really isn't. We're a weird place to be, but you'll walk away knowing how to paint, and that's the goal. So
we're going to be doing some more Wizard of Oz paintings then?
People had some feels about it.
They're liking it.
There's
lots of requests for more.
Then
so we would love
we'll
to see some
probably
more.
have to continue traveling in Oz. So this is a little bit orange, what I have here with the Cad Red Light.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this orange, you can see it on the brush. And I'm dusting it a couple places. Right? it's just a little back and forth brush stroke. Tips of the bristles touching the canvas. Just what I'm imagining is little patches of flowers. I don't know what you're imagining, but I'm imagining patches of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I've just put a little more Cad Red on there. You know. So I've got to decide how far do my patches of flowers go up to Oz. I feel like that's too strong of a patch. So I just felt like that was too strong of a patch, so I'm just sort of lightening that out so it's not bright, because it wouldn't be that bright that far away.
I'm just enjoying chat out here. We've got like
Are you?
300 people and over 400 likes, and I'm just having a blast over here. So
this side, more of this has gone to seed with the poppies. Poppies are actually happen if a farmer is not treating its field. They're a pest, actually.
Janine's ready for the poppies.
Huh?
Janine's really ready for the poppies.
Yeah, this is really, I do poppy landscapes, so this is just like, look, it's Oz with a poppy landscape. I can handle that. So once I have this sort of nice red down, then I'm going to get some just a little bit of my pure Cad Red Light.
Where you at?
And I'm going to,
There you go. Okay.
just a couple places here, pop some of this, mix it in with maybe some of these lighter shades. Oh, little poppies. Poppies on the hillside. Happy little poppies. Poppies. Dancing on your hillside. What?
I just think it's cute you're dancing. Everybody's poppies of death. Yes, Janine's definitely ready for the poppies of death.
Well, jeez.
Well, she's not wrong. Don't go dawdling in the poppies if you're in the if you're in the land of Oz.
Yeah, it's definitely not a time to go on a photo expedition.
Don't go smelling the flowers. Don't wander off the road.
All right, so I've got some of the Cad Red Deep, and you can see that it pulls and reads a little different in the canvas than the other red. And that's why it's nice to have a cool and a warm red. What is this?
That's your dance music for having 400 people here, 400 likes with you.
Oh my gosh.
You know that? And I'm just going to throw that up there because, I know you're finishing up your poppies, but
I'll dance.
we'll get you a little dancing on. So for all you guys who are out there with us, thank you for joining us today. It's really nice to have you all here. We've got like over 300 people here, over 400 likes. Really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. I'm always supposed to say like, comment, subscribe, and share. You guys know about all that stuff. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. We love having you here. Thank you for sharing your pictures. Thank you for being part of our community. Don't forget to join us over there on TheArtSherpa.com after the show. We've got our chat going. There's all sorts of fun stuff for us to do. So thank you guys. I'll let Sim get back to her stuff, but I just want to say that.
It's super fun. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready, Sherpa.
I'm going to get a number 2 bright.
I'm
going to get a number 2 bright. I'm going to load it up with some yellow oxide. And then, those of you that have ever Monet'd or anything with me, get ready for the dab dance.
Oh, yes.
Dab, 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 dab. So it's loaded as a bead on my brush. And I'm just dabbing this horizontally along my road. Because I'm making my brick road a little more like cobblestones.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm going to also just do a little dab. Here I'm on the corner of the brush as I come down the curve. And then I go back into the flat of the brush. Corner. And I'm trying to have my little dots be horizontal.
Gotcha.
We'll see how that goes. And I'm letting the dark paint show through. Like you do.
Uh-huh.
Because you do, I'm just dabbing that. This would work if I noticed that somebody was doing a mural in a room, and this would totally, all these techniques apply to a wall. My only thing is that, like, for big areas of solid like this, I would just do it with house paint, and then I would do the detail stuff with good acrylic. Having done it a couple times.
We've done a couple walls.
Yeah. That's what I would say.
Pretty nice. Diane says this is Elton John's Yellow Brick Road.
It is. This is totally Elton's.
Looking good there, Sherpa. I like it. So you're coming down here to the front one. I'm going to make my little robot camera wander down here and see some more bricks being laid. Now, you're making these bigger as you come forward.
Correct.
Why are you doing that?
Things that are far away will be smaller, and objects that are closer will be bigger and more defined, so that as I am doing this forward-facing brick road, I've got to make my brush strokes more noticeable and bigger.
Ah.
That's what I've got to do.
It's part of the building of the road, huh?
It's part of the building of the road. And on occasion, I might add a little white to my paint to create some dimensionality to my bricks. That white, though, will be more in the center of the road and not to the edges. The other color that I would add on occasion to my yellow ochre is a little bit of this burnt sienna. Makes it a little bit like a raw sienna.
They would like some flying monkey paintings and
Yeah, you know,
witch
I really
paintings.
vacillated about initially telling the shoes even as from the point of view of the witch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, who was it who did both the Dorothy and the witch in the shoes?
Dude, that was so cool.
That was great. I'm going to have to pull that for this Sunday's show. It was really good.
I don't think we have one this Sunday, though.
Yeah, this Sunday's going to be kind of... We have a lot of family stuff that's kind of coming up on this
It's
weekend.
going to be crazy through November, guys. But we are probably going to see Thanksgiving, which is insane.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do some Thanksgiving stuff, and we'll have some more ad hoc live, because we have a live button, and we like to push it.
Yeah. And there'll be some pre-recorded surprises of things that you've already seen that you've been saying, hey, where are they? Working on it.
Yeah.
So put a little white on my ochre. You know, put a little brown on my ochre. The ochre with the brown, take that to the outer edges of your brick. See? The light ochre is the inner edges of your brick. And you can see we're having an underpainting of this technique is super helpful.
Ooh, Moxie says she's going to be joining us for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's awesome.
So.
Hi, Moxie. Hey, girl.
Yeah. So so you guys know what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting together on Thanksgiving to have some sort of community get-together. We know that a lot of you guys may have family out of town or that's far away, so we like to try to get our little family together for a virtual get-together and try to let everybody just have some little place to hang out.
Or maybe you want to hide from your family.
Or you know, for those of you who may be hiding out from your family on the sofa in the back after you've had some turkey.
You're like, okay, I'm up.
Yeah, and for those of you who are just checking out of the holidays altogether, saying,
because you know, Thanksgiving right after a major election,
I'm sure
is the best Thanksgiving in the world.
I imagine that family is going to be some.
Woo! Us too.
It's
all of us. We're all going to be sitting there across the table for turkey,
and we have a nope out
looking
policy.
at each other, going, "Don't talk about it." How's the weather?
Yep. And so you guys know we have a zero politics policy here on the Sherpa channel.
Yeah,
and we
do.
allow our moderators to enforce that with extreme
Can't enforce
enthusiasm.
that at my own Thanksgiving table. I've tried.
Yeah. So it's
nobody respects me at home.
We just like to leave that at the door and just talk about painting here because that's the right thing to do here.
Or family, or our lives.
Yep. So
still saying it's going to be quite a Thanksgiving.
So So we're gonna have everybody here
for everybody.
So we'll have the chat going. It'll be chill. We'll be doing some art stuff.
Yeah, Ian, the off-kilter crafter, is going to be here. I'm grabbing some more of this light ochre with the white in it. And I'm going to be adding a little bit of it to the center of the road coming up the hill. See, I'm just dabbing this randomly around. It's important. It's important.
Yep.
To do that if you can. It builds the infrastructure for later. Dab, and as I get up on the road there, I just sort of just get very like, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we have to make this yellow brick road actually yellow. Shockingly. So grab that CAD. And start
there we go.
putting some stones down. See how we're just weaving them over? Look at that.
Yeah.
It makes our road yellow.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, so in The Wizard of Oz, was the yellow brick road supposed to be made of gold?
I don't remember.
Because I don't. I mean, like
On the book, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've read the book. I mean, like when I was, in high school, I think was when I last time I read the book. So I'm just
I don't remember
curious
about the road.
Yeah.
Book reviewers.
And I think
Somebody here knows. Share your knowledge.
Myrtle says gold.
Gold it is.
So
Didn't go out well for the Aztecs.
yeah.
They better hope we never find them. Just saying.
Yeah,
I'm taking a little white and I'm adding it to my yellow.
And there's a lot of stuff from
And I'm adding this highlight. Can you see this highlight happening?
Oh yeah,
here?
I'm trying to chase you around there with RoboCam. That's why I was asking, because it really looks gold here.
Yeah.
And I remember there were a lot of things in the book that weren't in the movies or hadn't made it to the screen in many of the carnations.
Well,
So-
I think because there was actually, we don't discuss politics here, but there was a lot of politics being discussed in The Wizard of Oz. I think when it was written.
That's true. So
There's a lot that this author was trying to talk about and yet not go to jail for.
but some of those other scenes we may want, like like all the poppies and things like that.
Yeah.
Those are some cool things that we may want to
I'm
explore.
really
with some
into
pictures.
the air balloon. You know what weird
Oh,
scene
yeah.
I'm into, and I'm probably alone in this? The tornado.
Oh, no, they were asking for
really into
tornado.
the tornado, like painting wise, and of course the air balloon.
Yeah, like they definitely like the tornado. There were several people asking about tornadoes. So
I haven't done tornadoes because I feel bad because so many people we know actually get hit by actual tornadoes, which
Yeah.
do not take you to a magical land
no.
and help you in any way and seem really scary in real life.
Yeah, anybody from Kansas or Oklahoma or Missouri, you kind of know those are just not cool.
So you can see I'm just filling this in. And sometimes it's just seeing how long, like I'm pretty fast, but it still just takes a certain amount of time for me to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have to, for the road to look good like this, I
Yes.
have to work on it a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
I pulled some just white. I'm just making sure that there's a high reflection there in the center. You see it did? What?
Flame requests a melting wicked witch. She's like, I want one too. I want one too. I cannot
right.
blame you. There's so many good scenes to do from that movie.
We're actually not that far from done, by the way.
Oh yeah, this one's getting pretty close. Oh.
So, but I've got to put some yellow bricks over here, don't they?
Yeah.
They got to be yellow and they got to be over here. And I'm just trying to stay out of the way of robot cam, so I'm just doing the dabs. I'm trying to leave some paint underneath.
Yeah.
And because you guys have shown some interest, I'm going to show you the first one I did where I made a mistake and I actually had to repaint.
Ooh, Mona threw out a good tip here. She was saying, I guess she caught a question here that someone was using hue, and if you needed to punch the hue up, you could use a little white.
Yep,
So
it does. It does help punch the hue up. All student paints are generally a hue and have lesser pigment in them. So if you think of them as a glaze instead of a heavy-bodied opaque paint, and then you just make little adjustments. I'm dabbing the yellow up here so that the road is yellow all the way to the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's a soft, dry brush. I wouldn't want it to be psycho yellow. So I want a lot of what's underneath it to show through, or it won't seem far away. All right, here we go. This has actually been easier than even Misty Mountain Meadow was.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're just getting better at teaching it. I don't know. You guys will have to let us know. So then we're just getting better at doing these. Because it feels like this is, even though this is a pretty involved landscape, fairly easy.
Yeah, it's a two hoot because it's in depth, lots of layers.
Yeah, I think it's that you've just got a lot to
But it's
put
just
in.
it's easy layers.
I think that they're easy layers. All right, so this is this. Now we just have to do our beautiful grass.
Yeah, this is looking so good. I really like. I'm gonna take. I'll take a look at that.
Do you?
Yeah,
All right,
go over
look
to his
at that.
RoboCam and look at that too. Oh, look at that. It's coming together.
I think so.
It really is.
I'm going to get this brilliant, really like this. Yes, there are some that are impressing me.
So Terry
as
wants,
we go.
if Terry wanted to make her bricks look more realistic, is that okay?
Yes, you can change this painting any way you want to.
But it, being more realistic on those bricks wouldn't hurt the
No,
composition.
but okay,
or-
so if you do these as realistic bricks that are laid like a brick instead of more cobblestone, you're going to need just to make sure that these are smaller, and
Yeah.
they're going to be almost unseeable. You probably only see bricks to about here, and then this is where you really say that it's brick.
Gotcha.
And make sure that these bricks are bigger than these bricks, and that they converge at this space. So just a little 1 point perspective.
Cool. All right,
Little bit.
that totally makes sense.
Totally cool. And there's a thing on how to do bricks. Ginger Cook Live.
And if you go out to TheArtSherpa.com, you can find there's a little Pinterest link right there on the webpage that goes to all of our traceables. So if you
Yep.
have any questions, you can just get direct links, and we try to make that
I
easy,
check out.
easy,
We
easy.
give you a place to share your artwork that's safe, that's off social media, so you can put up whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be worried or stressed out about that. It's pretty cool. We're pretty cool. I'm just saying we're pretty cool.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to do my dark grass. I've got a number 6 bright, and I'm going to load up my phthalo green. I'm going to add a little cad yellow to it, but not a lot because I want it to be quite dark still. It may need a little glazing medium because my palette is drying out. And I'm going to find a couple places that I'm going to be doing the first of my grass, and this is the darker grass.
And I'm going to send some art hugs out there. Lady White Fang's cousin just got some news there. I was and needed a little art hugs. And I know that our own Summer's been having some health care issues she's needing to take care of for herself. I want to send her some art hugs too. So
I wholly agree with that. I'm on the edge of my brush, and I like to arc my stroke one way and then sometimes come back through, and I like to make it feel like the grass is blowing, and I'm just putting in some dark values to anchor, but I'm going to pull a lot of yellow in right now. Get some white if you need it. I'm going to come along this edge here.
now, can you? I'm
going to be starting to brush out some of this great grass.
before you put that on the canvas on RoboCam, I'm gonna go over and close up on that again. Whoop. I want to see the brush. Oh yeah, see how you get all that mix up on there? It's all kind of, and that's how you end up with these little grass leaves that have all of those depth of color in them.
Yep.
And I know that a lot of you guys are looking at how to capture that, so I want to make sure we got in there and showed you.
Get in there and show them. Show them the secrets. Show them all the secrets. The secrets are something. Put this over here, but there's no point in having to travel far. That's crazy. Just might as well be all over here. And I do some of the yellow ochre, so I'll put some of that back out. I'm just putting out more paint so I can finish out my grasses.
Your grasses.
My grasses need so much loving.
Now, I noticed you put a lot of motion in that grass, but
Yes.
with sort of some flicks to them instead of just making them straight.
I do not make them straight
Why?
because then they seem stiff like they're AstroTurf, and I want them to blow.
Can you show me why you're making the strokes the way you are there? How you
So
kinda
what
do
I'm
that?
trying to do is show, and this is a little bit technique because I'm not looking at actual patches of grass,
Okay.
right? I get some white and a little glazing medium, so I got some fluidity. And so I'm just trying to, and I may even switch to a number 4 to get some more control
Okay.
in my grasses. I want lots and lots of control in my grasses. I got to just see.
Oh, I told you RoboCam is just going on his own there today. I gotta get that.
Here we go. Here's a number 4.
Where's number 4? There it is.
Right here. This is number 4. I just want more control over what I'm doing. So sometimes if I switch down a brush, it gives me a little more control. So I'm just, you can see sometimes I curve an arc up, and sometimes I curve it down. And what I'm trying to say is, gosh, guys, the wind is blowing.
Oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. So it kind of is growing up out of the ground, and then it gets bent over because of the wind, but it's trying to see the sun, so it pops back up.
Yeah. I'm going to add a little yellow ochre to this next little bit that I'm mixing. I'm going to be changing up the mixes as I go through this hill.
Now,
Because some of it will be lighter green and some of it will be not. And
now, can I ask you about this? When it seems that you're making the blade of grass thicker in the middle by rotating your brush there a little bit.
it might, but I like the overall impact of how it creates a flow into the painting. You know, you could do this with a smaller brush. You could do this with you have a lot of choices. You do, you have choices.
What choices do you have?
So many.
I don't believe you.
There's a lot of ways to get this in. You just got to get the one that's comfortable to you. You might prefer a number 2 shader or detail. I want the hill to be covered in grass.
Yeah.
I want it to feel like the grass isn't uniform in color, like it's in varying stages of drying out. And so like on that, I will add some white to the mix, and I will work patches, and I'll try to weave them together. And I'm trying to tell the story of a close. This has to be more vibrant. Let me show you something.
Okay, show me.
So I did this kind of irksome the first way, and then I did it this way. See?
All right, hold on. Let me back up. Okay, I see them. Whoa.
The hill being brighter green versus this richer, darker green allowed it to feel more forward and close to me.
Oh, yeah.
So it changed a couple of things.
Yeah, the lighter color really pops it forward.
Yeah, it does. It's an important part of the piece. So see, sometimes I will be painting along and be like, hey, that ain't working. I got to change that up.
Gotcha.
It happens to everybody. Everybody will sometimes have to change something up. Not really a big deal. Sometimes you're like, you get along and, I painted that and I decided to repaint it. I'm going to pull some grass blades here in front of my road a little bit. Just so that, and I'll come along here with the green. But I just want it to feel layered. Like you do. That's funny.
Everybody echoes it in chat when you say that.
Because it's what you do.
No, like you do.
Like you do. And I'm just going to pull this up. This is a very simple look at some very complicated realism that one can start doing in grass. If you ever feel like taking 60 hours on a painting.
Mm-hmm.
Because you might. You might not feel like that right now, because I know I get people that like, it was 8 hours. So, not hitting them up for the 60-hour paintings yet. But nothing's stopping you from doing the more complicated 60-hour painting.
Mm-hmm.
You're capable of it. Same skills that you see here are just slowed down and are less expressive and more about creating accurate detailing. Couple more steps. But this is a great first. This is a nice expressive landscape. It's whimsical. Lord knows I tend to lean to the whimsical. But like I said, I got dark in me. You just don't want to flip that switch because it gets real dark. Beholder being an example. I've worked very hard for this happy demeanor.
Have you?
Yeah.
It didn't just come that way.
No, I did not just come this way. I work at it.
You have not become more pleasant over the last, say, 20 years?
I think I have, haven't I?
You've always been this pleasant.
No. I think I had a lot of really I had a lot of opinions that were not flexible and fluid.
I think
I had so many opinions.
I think as young people, we oftentimes have opinions that don't seem flexible.
So many times I'm so grateful that I didn't have a blog.
Yeah.
When no one should be recording anything I had to say.
Yep.
Oh, so grateful. So you can see I add a little white to that. And
That's
yellow.
right. The D punch evil in the face.
Yeah, now I get to punch evil in the face. Well, I always wanted to punch evil in the face. I think I just was unclear on what was evil and what that even meant. I thought maybe it was like an actual thing, like where you know, had to speak your truth, say your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't feel the need to do that all the time.
No. Because you have a YouTube show.
Well,
And
that does give me a voice.
You speak your mind all the time. And
Not really.
No.
I filter. I recognize.
Oh, we're here, doing our thing.
We do.
Every day. Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you, Flame. We Horde, the Sherpets were asking what server we're on for
E-Trig.
WoW. That's right, the E-Trig server. We play on the Horde faction.
Everybody's going to get to find out soon what I'm going to be.
Mm-hmm. We'll be doing that all together.
Yeah, this is about moving in 2017 and having some gaming landscape painting.
Oh, yeah.
Where do we take these fantasy landscapes and make them awesome? Do we like how our hill's flowing?
I think so.
Is anyone else really happy with that? Because I'm super pleased.
I liked how that hill turned out. I think it turned out great.
I'm super pleased. And you can see I'm just living here in my little green paint, doing my little green paint things.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put on some little shadows of little tufts of stuff that are blending. And you can see I work the edge here and I curve the stroke. So it's a combo of got a good reliable brush that isn't messing with me. So what I'm imagining I'm doing is actually happening. Can't tell you how often I like go up to someone who's like super frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll switch their paint or their brush, and they're just I can't wait till we do our meetups, because like when I get to be there with you and then you're doing your thing and I can be like, wait,
Yeah.
I fix it.
We're looking at doing some of that
You're
soon,
gonna be just
too.
going, this just solves everything. I'm so excited for that moment.
Me too.
That's my dream. It's my dream. I'm going to put a lot of these blades of grass kind of layering over the road. So by doing that, that helps anchor that there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because these things are impacting in this landscape. And I'm going to layer right over some of that road that I painted. I'm not afraid. Are you afraid? Sounds like I don't know. I hadn't really thought about my fear level in regards to grass.
I was reading what Sue said here. And
What's Sue say?
So she was
Hi,
saying,
Sue.
does anyone else have paint ridges in their paint and what to do about them? And I don't know if she means as it comes out of the tube or as it dries on the canvas.
If it's as it dries on the canvas and you don't like that in your paint, use everything I'm using. Just switch to
Fluid?
this.
Fluid paint.
Or Liquitex calls it soft body.
Soft body.
Or I think Matisse also calls it soft body.
Okay. So don't use a heavy body paint.
Don't use a heavy body paint and the ridges will go away. What you want is self-leveling. If you have a big investment in heavy bodied paint, you can add a soft body gel to also cause it to self-level.
Oh,
so
nice.
that way you can use up what you have, right?
Uh-huh.
And get the result you want, and then just change it out for this, and then but it won't do any of the impasto palette knife stuff.
Oh, wait, what was that fancy word you used for thick paint?
Heavy body?
No, the impasto?
Impasto.
Impasto. That's where...
That's like whenever we're getting our palette knives out and we're like, let's get crazy with the knives. Whoosh. We make those big textures. Or like we did those poppies with the I have some new paste. If you bought paste, there's new paste projects coming.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna like. More towards spring, but you're gonna like. And so if you don't want that structure, that's what it is.
Okay.
Did I explain that? I don't know.
You did. Perfectly.
Okay. Sometimes I get lost in my own mind. Does anyone else get lost in their own mind?
Yes.
My kids just don't like it. When I'm talking to them and then like in mid-thought, I'm done. But I don't like walk off or do anything obvious.
Now, can glazing medium help heavy body self-level?
Yes.
Okay.
Glazing medium will also take some of the heavy-bodied out. Because its whole thing is about keeping the paint... Okay, so glazing. My retarders and glazing mediums will cause your paint to level some.
Mm-hmm.
There are special gels that are also retarders that don't.
Gotcha.
That's why there's a retarding gel and not just a look. That's why they make new products. Because what happens is that they make something and artists say, this is great, but it took all the body out of my paint. Do you guys make anything that won't do that? I imagine somehow that's how Liquitex ended up with the liquid glazing.
Mm-hmm.
Is a lot of people must have been like, if it would just glaze and slow the drying time of paint, that would be perfect. And they were probably like, oh, we don't have one that does both. Let's make this. And then they changed the Sherpa's life forever. And now I can glaze and retard all in one palette. I don't have to go get another jar of anything. I still love Grubbacher retarder, though.
Yep.
It's really good stuff.
Yeah, especially
it's just not a glaze.
And with the lights and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But just also if you're doing portraiture, I just grabbed some more yellow. So you guys see how I'm changing up my paint pretty regularly? Like I'll get some in here and then I'll be like, oh, let's change like color or value. So and then I'm trying to weave these little grass strokes in together.
So there are a couple people in chat asking how they can get both email and happy mail to you.
Email is harder because my email is crazy, but I try.
And that you can always reach help@heartparty.com.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
I really do. I really gonna just try to, as a creator, keep my message centers open. I think the long term of that is maybe I won't catch everything eventually, but I feel like it's important that we have an open communication path.
And we're gonna try.
So I'm like, I'm in there. I'm looking. I've got to separate up the email that the teachers send me email information from the ones that everything else comes in, though.
And your happy mail or fan mail physical
just
address
goes to the P.O. box.
There's a P.O. box in the description below that you can pull up, and that's pretty easy from there.
Yeah, you don't even need to put the P.O. box info in it because they actually know that the Art Sherpa is me.
They figured it out now.
Yeah, they're real clear. I have crazy mail, and they're not allowed to put stickers on it to destroy any art, because otherwise I'd stand there having opinions. They don't want me to do that. They're like, all right, we'll stop stickering up your community's art. Like, that's right. It's their, don't silence them.
Uh-huh.
Don't you silence their creativity. Just thought I was tagging the box. I didn't know I was marginalizing anybody. We don't actually have these conversations. Mostly I say crazy things and then they stare at me like I'm crazy and smile and say, have a really good day. But I'm sure they're like, oh my gosh, she's so crazy.
Well, I'm going to take an opportunity here and to
I have some feels, don't I?
I was just saying, I'm going to take an opportunity here to let Rick know that I couldn't do everything that I do here behind the scenes without the support of our community and our moderators and and all of our Sherpettes out there.
Nobody would even know we were painting if you guys weren't sharing these videos and sharing your artwork. I would have nobody in these live events but for y'all.
And the way that you help manage the community and we keep everything positive and we're here as a group, that's really what makes this possible. And I'm pretty busy pushing buttons and watching chat, but I couldn't do what's going on here without your help. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of this. And, again, sharing your pictures because that's what, we love to see.
We want to see your art that's in your heart, singing songs together. I don't know what's up with me today. I think it's this painting makes me feel better.
It's a good painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice painting.
I shared some doodles on social media.
You did?
I did.
You shared doodles? What were they
I
doodles?
did, but then everyone's like, it needs to be a tutorial.
Every time you share a doodle, I think it's what gets
Doodle.
said. We've taken to recording your doodles, though.
Yeah. John's going to show you how some of those got made.
Yeah. And
you're like, what? What's happening there?
And we're going to post a lot more of that stuff up on the website so that it'll still be on the channel, but that way you can find it through the website more easily because it's YouTube's playlist system doesn't make it really easy.
Just so everyone knows, periodically about every couple of inches of grass, I will change color. I'll add white, or I'll add green, or I'll add ochre or yellow. Just so you guys know.
Kate says
every couple of inches of grass. And I kind of judge that by just how long I've been painting with the colors. Like, I would get to about here, and then I'd be like, oh, I need to maybe go a little more ochre and green. And work that here, see?
Gotcha.
So that's how I determine that. Just don't want anyone not to know, because I know I'll get asked later. Probably they'll type the question before you get to this part where I answer it. I love this. We're like, oh wait, no, you answered it.
Yep.
Then I know who's really watching. I'm getting a little white and a little yellow. Just having this bright, close-up grassy knoll. And you can weave these together as much as you want. You can practice your grass brush stroke, by the way, on scratch paper until you get happy with it. Just this little curves. It's just a little curve, and then I curve the other way for the ripple. Don't you want a ripple?
Now, are we still doing... Oh, I got that behind
I just got light here, and I'm going to finish this off with this little patch of light because I had it in the original.
Now, are we still going to put our community tree up here?
Yeah.
It's going up here probably pretty quick.
Yeah. That's a little bit... We have a lot going on. It's been a little crazy.
Yeah, I think this week we'll see that going up.
It's been a little crazy. But we're just trying to... There we go. How do we feel about those hills?
Oh,
I feel like they're
love those
very
hills.
grassy.
Those are very nice, fluffy hills.
So here's the thing about why do I take this time to in live show you the hill and not just take that 20 minutes and trunk it down to 2 minutes. Seeing me change colors, seeing me make those brush strokes, seeing how long it takes me to do it helps you calibrate what you're doing at home. That's why.
Yep.
That's why. Doesn't mean whatever do like hour-long paints. We have those, they upload.
Yeah.
Generally. Less chatting. John's all, he's there, by the way. And those ones we pre-record where he's not talking, you guys are worried, he's there. He's just drinking coffee in his jam. He's watching me work.
Yeah, turn my mic off and kick back. So, now you're going to put the poppies in now? Is that what's going on?
I'm going to put the poppies on. I'm going to do it with the number 2 bright.
Ooh. Oh, and Kim was saying that Angela is on at 2 p.m. today. So, you guys
Yes,
have to
she
go over
is.
and check
For
her out.
Angel.
Oh, yeah.
Just call me Angel of the morning, darling. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to be very wasteful because I'm using actual Cad.
Yay.
And I'm going to put out a little red light and a little red medium.
You want those poppies to pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
Like Ruby
And
Rod.
these are not, whenever they have a light, medium, and a deep, they're not the same color, just darker. That's a misconception in paint. They're generally different leanings. They lean to warm or cool, not added like black or white to the color. Because you could just do that at home, which I also don't get muted colors, but that's fine. Have some feels there. I'm going to take a little of my yellow over here so I have it. And I'm going to get a little of my Cad light, and a little of my yellow, not too much because I still want it to be more to the red. And I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to do an interesting thing.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do little dabs in the grass. I don't worry about that there has to be a stem. Some of these will be small, some will be bigger. Right? They're just little drops of paint. Could do this with a palette knife if I wanted to.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to get some just pure Cad. Just little poppies in the background. Happy little spots of red. They're just little random shapes, aren't they? They're not real particular. They're not real defined. This is a very expressionist, loose painting, so I don't have to be super defined. I'm going to put my black paint out last.
All right.
Because I don't really need it till I need it. Come over here, and I'm going to add some of this.
Slide over there.
Over here.
Over there.
And these little happening. So they're happening. A little bit happening here, too. We want to show that it's happening. Little poppies. So these are further away. These are going to be up close, and they're going to be our ones that we really, really show the centers and talk about more in-depthly in our painting. And how I decide is I'm just trying to imagine random. I try to be Malcolm from Jurassic Park. Where does this water drop go?
That's a weird thing. All right.
Just saying, sometimes I'm Jackie Chan, sometimes I'm Jeff Goldblum. What do you want? I'm going to be a really weird elderly lady. I'm going to rinse out my brush. And I'm going to get into my Cad Red Deep.
Uh-huh. Oh, over there.
And you're going to notice that it pulls in this space very differently than the cool reds, the warm reds do. So go ahead and put a couple of these dots out here so it feels like not every poppy has the exact same value, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break that up. It's a subtle thing, but it makes a big, big difference to your little brain having happy times.
Oh, yeah.
And you want your brain to have happy times. Otherwise, why paint? That's the whole point. You gotta paint happy. Don't worry, be happy. So make sure that these are, while deadly poppy fields,
Beautiful.
surely they're deadly, but they're also very happy. I'm going to get some of my red, and I'm going to make a kind of amorphous, uneven little red round shape.
Gotcha.
Then I'm going to do another little one here. I like to have one going off the canvas because I'm punchy like that.
Putting some drama in there.
Drama on my canvas, not in my life. Not on my Facebook feed. Alright, see, I'm just adding, and they're not, look, I'm not being really, like, amazing about the shapes, right? I'm just trying to create a rough and uneven round shape.
Hmm.
You can even mix in some of your Cad Red Light if you want.
Everyone says, we need an after show where Kevin comes and visits. What?
Kevin does not need to crack in this.
What?
Kevin is not crackening this. So I've got a nice big one here.
You guys are silly.
This tells you a lot about where you're viewing the painting from, doesn't it?
They want it cracking from the sky. Sky krakens.
It was just so weird that he got in that serious cloud quest. I'm like, do I teach art here or what? No, apparently not.
Apparently we teach krakens.
We teach how to stick krakens and objects around. So I'm just trying to, I feel like I got a little repetitive in there.
Kevin hides in the poppy
So I'm
field.
going to just make sure that there's another one. I added that one because I was like, gosh, that's real repetitive. Maybe. See. Don't want it to be repetitive. A poppy here. Little poppy there. Pop in the poppies, my friends. Pop in those poppies. They're kind of round, but they're kind of not perfect.
Those are cool.
They can be.
Yeah.
They can be super cool. Some should be bigger. Some should be smaller. There's one going right off the canvas. So once those are in, the lastest, easiest part gets to happen. Put out some black paint.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do fluids. You could do heavy bodied.
Oh, I know what this is for. This is just the little finishing.
That's just the last thing.
It's
Guys,
awesome.
it's just the last thing.
All right, where are you going to do this at?
I'm going to load my brush up. And I'm going to, in the center of this poppy, put a black dot.
Over there.
I think I'll put one here. I think I'll put one there. This one could have one. This one's dot will be smaller. Just a little black dot. Look at that.
Oh,
Poppies. That one's a poppy too. And then you can just think about like how big do you want your centers to be. Tell you about the size and where the poppy is in the canvas. See, isn't that easy?
Yeah.
So easy. Easy peasy. That one I did kind of flat, like that's like at an angle. You can do that kind of like where they're maybe peeked at you, like flowers do. You might want the flower to peek at you.
Janine's like, can we hide Blendy in the grass?
Blendy is in the grass.
Blendy is in the grass. Christy says she would like to to cuddle Blendy. Blendy's not a cuddling creature, much to Spider's dismay.
Yeah, Spider's been super disappointed at the lack of cuddling that Blendy is inclined to give. Poppies. Emerald City.
Oh, that looks so good.
Dude, you did it. I mean, you can put this on social media. You can be like to your friends, like, yeah, I totally painted it. You better sign it, though, if you're going to do that. I'm going to get my little signature brush out
I'm
that
going to
I'm
look
digging.
at that painting. Oh, that looks so nice. Oh,
isn't that great? And I'm going to just put a little signature somewhere. I like to kind of be cheeky with mine. So maybe I'll start it here and go around this poppy. Haha. So, cheeky signature. Be cheeky with your signatures. So you've got clouds, you have distance, you have atmospheric perspective, you have some physical perspective. You've done some landscaping. Oh, it was your Saturday. You've gone to Oz. Things are better in the world.
Yes.
Every day you paint. Every day you paint, things can be a little bit better. And kind to each other right now. Actually, every day.
Can I say thank you to everybody? Because we've got over 450 likes. We've got like 300 people out here hanging out with us almost the entire time we've been here. It's been so nice to see you guys. I can't wait to see more of your pictures, more of the paintings.
I hope I see a bunch of you guys for Laguna Blue. Some Monster High fans.
And we're definitely going to be over at the...
If you like mermaids and you're not even sure who Laguna is, you probably like the painting anyways.
You got to check this out. And we did some voting on TheArtSherpa.com. That's why I was going to try to send anybody. Go over to TheArtSherpa.com. Yeah, we're gonna have the chat going. We've got all sorts of stuff. We've got some new features to be coming up there, hanging out.
Tell us what you think in the comments below.
Yeah.
But only nice stuff.
We
Tell
love
us
you
what
guys.
you think in the comments below. Check us out. Instagram and Pinterest and Twitter and everywhere. Facebook.
Yeah. Like...
Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Show us. I can't wait to see your landscapes because I feel like I really taught this one.
Yeah.
But I'll find out.
We'll love you guys.
See you with Easel really soon.
Bye-bye.